Hold on.
Hey, happy birthday. Happy birthday to the big man.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Let's make sure.
Yeah, I want to make sure it's all working. TikTok working?
You sound like you're a bit away. Hold on. Keep talking.
Yeah, I was just wondering if TikTok's working, Twitter,
TikTok.
if we're on Facebook. We got all our TikTok people.
Create live. Hold. Knock out. God dog it. I think we're live.
Yeah.
Yes, on right.
Yeah, let me check. On the YouTube.
Better. I think you were away from the mic or something.
No, yeah. Didn't change my position. Do I sound better now? All right.
You sound way better.
Okay.
You sounded far away the last time.
Okay. All right.
I think we're good.
So we're here, and then we're good on TikTok and everything else.
About to pull TikTok up right now.
Here we go, because we want those folks on. Our TikTok peeps. A lot of news in both the MMA and boxing space today.
All right, go live. There it is.
All right. Our TikTok peeps.
TikTok.
Welcome to our TikTok people. Thank you for liking and subscribing on YouTube. For all of you guys who are joining us today, just getting started. A little late, but we're here.
Just a little.
Just a little bit late. Looks like the vertical's working too, so that's good. So vertical's working. All right. So yeah, man. Definitely lots of lots of different news coming in both the boxing and the MMA world. I guess before we do the recap of the weekend, if we start with Kayla Harrison gets taken out, I hope she's going to be okay. They haven't nobody's really said how serious the neck injury was, but it seems like it's a disc.
Right.
And, you do it. You do ground fighting. You do the wrestling. You do the jiu-jitsu. And if the disc in your neck requires surgery, bro,
that's it.
I don't know. I hope that initial reports from Ariel Helwani show saying hopefully she can come back in 6 months, but even he can't really confirm. Right. I hope it's not something like where it's so serious she's going to be out for over 2 years, because then that might be it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And everybody was so looking forward to the Amanda Nunes return. This would have been, set up as the best female MMA fight of all time between two of the. Yeah. So, and by the way, this was the launch to UFC on Paramount Plus. It was the co-main event. So, the good thing we know about the UFC just as a whole is because they're like the NFL, the show goes on, just because Patrick Mahomes is hurt doesn't mean the game's not going to get played. So it's the same thing. I'm sure they're going to do something like elevate Usman Nurmagomedov versus Diverson Figueiredo up to co-main event, or Sean O'Malley to co-main event or something. Because, the card itself was stacked with so many different people in it, with Rose Namajunas, Sean O'Malley, Derek Lewis. There's so many different people on the card anyways that I'm sure it'll still be a great card. Is that I think we're all sad to hopefully again, Kayla Harrison, you end up being okay, because that's the most important thing. But at this point, there's some discussion on, well, maybe they could find a last minute opponent for Amanda Nunes. But I don't know. My take on it is that I don't think they should let Amanda fight. The only reason why I wanted to see Amanda come out of a 2.5-year retirement is because the Amanda Nunes, Kayla Harrison thing was brewing when Kayla Harrison was with the PFL, right? So it's kind of like, the whole Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford thing. Like, they was doing this whole Top Rank, won't let him fight because he's a PVC fighter. And then finally, Terrence Crawford says, you know what? I'm just going to promote it all on my own. I'll figure it out and let's do it together. And then the fight happened finally, right? So it's this is one of those things where, before, for Amanda to come out of retirement, for us to get a chance to see a Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes, that would have been fantastic. But,
that would have been fun.
Yeah. So now, again, hopefully that's better. But I don't know. How about you? Like, would you have wanted them to find like some weird last minute 10-day opponent for Amanda Nunes?
Yes, because that test there on, hey, how well prepared were you for any style, let alone just the style that, it puts the champion, it puts you in a disadvantage somewhat. I mean, don't get me wrong. Clearly, the last person coming in is also at the same disadvantage somewhat, and maybe not even as conditioned. So, I mean, there's a little right, and you just always want the champ fight,
Right.
You just always want people fighting. So absolutely,
right.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I mean, again, we're gonna find out. It is on Paramount Plus. It is the launch. They were expecting a ton of. I mean, I think in the end, I was just looking at some of the stats for the NFL playoffs that happened, and the highest one I think was Eagles versus 49ers. That got to 41 million.
Right.
The lowest one was I'm trying to remember if it was maybe the Rams game. Rams Panthers got 28 million. But I think that the UFC was trying to get their numbers up to like that 10 million to 15 million range for their first launch. So yeah, no, I'm sure they'll figure it out. I'm sure, it'll end up. But again, it just it deflates a little bit. But the good news is, I took my son to UFC 200 front row. And I remember there was a fight that was supposed to happen, then it didn't. Then they switch it, and it always ends up working out just fine, man. It always ends up working out just fine because the UFC knows what they're doing. And then the other one that's the news out there is this is very recent, but Brian Norman Jr. came out, did an interview, and he fired his dad. He's like, "Hey, my dad's not my trainer anymore." So
wild.
Well, I mean, look, prior to the fight, again, everybody should have been smart enough to know that Devin Haney, being as accomplished as he is, and only having the one controversial defeat with Ryan Garcia, which doesn't even count against his record, we should have all known that the outcome should have been the same. I think where a lot of us were shocked is we thought that Brian Norman Jr., even though he was only 24 years old, should have been more prepared for that fight. And it felt like he wasn't. So maybe that's the coaching side of it. And I've been on a couple of shows talking about this. But my take on it is basically that I think it's okay in this space, whether you're in MMA or in boxing or in any sports case, where if you feel like you could elevate your game as the athlete to go get other coaching, that should be okay. It's just that there's this weird thing that happens in boxing and in MMA where, the people get kind of like hurt when an athlete wants to switch. And it's just, right. you have to understand that, this is the only sport you don't play boxing, right? We always talk about that. You can get seriously hurt. So even though that is your dad, I'm in the standpoint of, look, congratulations, Brian Norman Sr. You were able to help get your son to his first world title. That's all great. But your son's a grown man now. He's, 25 now, and he wants to graduate from college and move on to something, right? Like, I mean, I'm not going to get mad. Like, I don't know what capacity Brian Norman Sr. is going to be a part of. I mean, he'll still be his dad at the end of the day. But having said that, I'm always into the whole, if you as an athlete are willing to really learn, then go out there and go learn from like an Abel Sanchez who trained Golovkin, right? One of the hardest punchers we ever saw. Go train with him, right? Or go train, go train with Robert Garcia, who's got a ton of people that's training with him right now. He's got so many different champions, but there's definitely a lot of avenues of Brian Norman Jr. trying to figure out which trainer he should go to. I know that on a couple of the podcasts I was in, they mentioned a Buddy McGirt, maybe, right? Ooh. Buddy McGirt's always into recreating people. Oh yeah. He has a new, he just had a new project recently. I'm forgetting that fight, but no, Buddy's still training people. But there's a lot of different avenues. If you really want to be deep about it, you fly to the UK and go train with Andy Lee, go train with Shane McGuigan, go train with the person that was training Tyson Fury. His name is escaping, Ben Davidson. Right. So like there's a lot of different people that you can train with. But what are your overall thoughts on the whole he makes this announcement? Is that you have sons, you know what I'm saying? Like you have a daughter who's in gymnastics right now. And if she were to say, Dad, I think I need to, like, how do you feel about this?
It's a tricky situation, man. Sometimes it's inevitable, right? I mean, it's pretty much a guarantee it's going to happen. And it's best for both parties, right? But I don't know if that's the case for Norman Jr. I really don't know, man. It could very well be a little too soon. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Because he's still a fighter, right? And that's the only thing. I don't mind. I mean, it all depends, right? Who's his trainer now? Who came in and stepped up? Have they given that information out yet?
No, because he just did this interview where the reporter correctly asked him, "Hey, so what's going on with the situation with you moving forward?" And he said, "Yeah, my dad's not going to be my trainer anymore." I mean, I think that a lot of it is that his dad got a lot of heat for spending, or the growing narrative from the fan base was Brian Norman Sr. spending too much time on social media talking up his son rather than just, why don't you focus in maybe the biggest fight of your life in fighting someone who is a pound for pound.
Correct.
And is currently a pound for pound fighter. And then it looked bad. The whole thing looked bad. The adjustments looked bad. And then it never looks good, man, when you're the trainer and you're saying, well, he's now following the game plan. And I understand, like, if you're the father and you want to say that, right? Like, if you're the dad and you're cheering on your kid, and it's like you're with your son, you're not his track coach. But if you're like, well, I know his coach said the game plan was this, but my son didn't follow it. But now you're coming from the standpoint of a father, right?
Correct.
But imagine if it's the trainer that came out, if it's your son's coach that publicly says to the press, hey, little Crump just wasn't doing what I was asking him to. Well, now, no, the little Crump looks bad, right? He looks terrible. Which colleges want to go get him now? He looks like he's, and I don't know. Like, I never think that's a smart thing to do. I think that you should just, you lick your wounds, and as a coach, you just say, hey, it wasn't our night, and we're gonna go bounce back, and then that's it. And it just, it's gonna be a lot of a pride swallowing, like a siege of, until, because you're people are going to remember whatever your last fight is. All you have to do is come back in a couple of months from now when you're ready, get a nice knockout, and then you're fine. You're back. You're right back up there. So, but again, you're a father of athletes who are going at high levels. I mean, I don't know, man. If that was you, how'd you feel?
I know. Well, no, that's a great question, man, because I would feel some kind. It just really depends, right? Because that's my problem. I don't see where Brian. Well, yeah, that last fight he wasn't prepared for, and that's the thing. I know how that happened. Yeah, how did that happen? Somebody has to take, including himself. I mean, he's taking responsibility, but he's also allowed, for whatever reason, right, some other things to come in and make sense. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at the kid.
No, because you
kid.
yeah, because you wouldn't be mad like again, it's a great example. Like your son's trying to make it to the Olympic trials for track, but if you were the one coaching him,
right,
and then you didn't get him to qualify, is it really wrong for your son to be like, Dad, I love you, man, but it's just not going to work out between us as a coach because I kind of counted on you to give me a plan,
right,
to get me to qualify, and you didn't get me to do it. So it's nothing against you. Like it's nothing personal, Dad. It's just that you know what I mean. But it is weird because it is personal because you're my son, man. How are you gonna fire me?
It's tough.
So, well, I mean, again, on the flip side of that, shout out to the dads who are making it work, like Bill Haney.
Yes, sir.
So many people were giving Bill Haney a hard time, but at the end of the day, Bill Haney raised his son up to be an undefeated pound for pound fighter, and nobody can really say anything about it, So, yeah. So there is that too, and but yeah, and so between those two things, which was, I would say, the Kayla Harrison thing was extremely negative. I'm not sure that Brian Norman Jr. is negative more than it is news. Las Vegas did their announcement already for Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios happening at the MGM Grand on February 21st, and that's supposed to be a really stacked card, but everybody's paying attention to that whole 147-pound division with Devin Haney there now. Rolly Romero's being forced to fight Giasov to defend his WBA. You got Lewis Crocker, who's trying to make a deal with Devin Haney to make a WBO IBF unification. You got Jack Catterall coming up in the wings. You got Connor Benn coming up in the wings. There's a lot. Like 147 is becoming one of those divisions again, where it's a glamour type division. And now you look at the WBC, in where Mario Barrios, who's held this belt now for a little bit of time, but everybody feels like he's the weakest of the bunch. He didn't look good on Netflix against Abel Ramos. He got hurt a couple of times against Fabian Medina, and then he really lost to Manny Pacquiao. Yeah. And Manny Pacquiao is almost as old as you, birthday boy. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're not that much older than Manny, So the fact that Mario Barrios is able to get away with a draw, from an old man, right? And not a lot of people are really, that confident with Mario Barrios. So the bets, because we talk bets on this channel all the time, it's swinging Ryan Garcia's way, right? In terms of he's the favorite, right? But here's my question to you, because you just saw Ryan Garcia do that terrible fight with Rolly in New York. That was a bad showing. And then the fight before that, there's the whole clenbuterol incident, and even though he beat Devin Haney, but man, that's a long time ago now. If we think we're in 2026, right? Yes. So should he really be the favorite against Mario Barrios, who, like it or not, Mario Barrios has been active versus Devin Haney? He looked pretty bad against Rolly Romero in May. But overall thoughts on that? Ryan Garcia for the WBC against Mario Barrios.
I mean, I like the fight. It should be an entertaining, good fight. I lean towards Ryan Garcia.
Really?
I do, actually. I do. I believe Ryan has the aura / star power, right? You know what I mean? Like, he's just he's going to be considered the more superior fighter amongst the casuals, in my opinion.
But is he, though? In your opinion? Because think about the people he's fought up to this point, right? He lost to Davis.
Right. See,
right?
Barrios, though, he doesn't always fight the same way. That's why, you know what I mean? Like, again, for instance, with Pacquiao, it was like he was starstruck. So again, does he get starstruck again because now he's fighting, social media sensation Ryan Garcia?
Right.
I mean, the stuff, it seems to affect him, right, in some way. So I'm just not sold on him being able to give us his best performance as far as
right
what's going to be necessary for him to take this win.
They're definitely, like when you mentioned the whole Ryan Garcia and the aura part of it, right? I mean, if you really rewatch the Haney fight, there are moments in there where Haney was doing what he wanted to do, and then he got caught, right? And then when you get caught, you get rattled and the whole bit. But in hindsight, there's a reason why the fight card was ruled a majority decision, because one judge had it as a draw while the other two had it for Ryan Garcia, meaning that, and then again, it ends up being a no contest because of the clenbuterol steroid incident, the whole bit. But at the end of the day, my point is, in terms of just technicality, like technically sound, especially how horrible Ryan looked against Rolly Romero.
Yes.
Manny Pacquiao is a different beast when it comes to like technical boxing and the way he fights and the whole bit. So even though he's almost your age, right, he did what Manny Pacquiao does. If Ryan Garcia fights in that same, I mean, I don't know which Ryan Garcia will get, but do you think that Ryan Garcia has enough technical abilities to be able to beat Mario Barrios, or is it going to be one of those things where he'll just have to get one of those left hooks from, you know what I mean? Because Ryan Garcia is one of those guys who we know he can hit you hard. And if he hits you with a left hook, you're going down, right?
Correct.
But the question, though, is he technical enough to actually get that to happen against Mario Barrios? Or is this Mario Barrios' moment to finally shut a lot of people up and go, look, man, you guys have been saying I'm the sucky one in this whole division, and I'm tired of it. So I'm gonna upset the apple cart. I'm gonna mess up the Haney Garcia bag on this one. I mean, you still believe in Ryan? You still think he can really do it, huh?
I think this is his last shot, and I think it's the opponent that gives him a chance to get back in the mix. How old is Ryan Garcia? He's not old.
26, I think. I'll have to look at him. He's a baby, dude. He's a baby.
Yeah, he's. I take him in this fight.
All right. Well, I'll tell you this. If you and as we get closer, we'll break it down some more technically and how they're looking in training. But if Ryan Garcia does win, I know that the boxing space is extremely excited about it, because look at all the fights you can make. First of all, biggest fight would be him against Haney again, because that was such a controversial thing, but it did do well in both the pay-per-views and the interest. That going into now more of a less pay-per-view era, Haney versus Garcia could become a really big American type of unification fight. WBC, WBO, it'd be a big deal, and especially if Ryan Garcia ends up doing this fight and then somehow Devin Haney fights Lewis Crocker and Devin Haney becomes the IBF and WBO champ, right? Now Haney versus Garcia becomes for the lineal championship. And we haven't had a 147 lineal champ since Boots Ennis. No, Boots Ennis just did it. Remember, Boots Ennis did it. Like I know what you're saying though. Not like a hey, this guy died, Sugar Ray took all the belts, and I know what you're saying. But just technically speaking, I don't ever want to be factually incorrect. Boots was the lineal champ, because he beat Stan Yotis, became the Ring Magazine and the whole bit, and then he vacated right away. So, but that's exactly to your point. It's been a long time since we've had a lineal champion that actually wants to stay there. And Devin Haney's made it very clear that he's not planning on moving up anytime soon. He wants to become the undisputed 147. It's the glamour division. But even with that, like Ryan Garcia versus Conor Benn is a thing. They're already promoting it right now. They're saying Conor Benn's going to show up. He's going to be there front row. Conor Benn, the belt he wants to get is the WBC. So Conor Benn, Ryan Garcia would be a ticket seller, right? So it is really relevant if Ryan Garcia can pull this off. So I hope he does. Again, as we get closer to that February 21st date, we'll do more of a breakdown of that. But hopefully. And then, I mentioned Boots Ennis because this is the part where on a few of the shows I've been on, I talk about this all the time, Professor T, that what essentially drove a lot of casual fans out of boxing is this very crap we're dealing with right now between Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Boots Ennis, right? Yes. So Jaron Boots Ennis moves up to 154 after becoming the Ring Magazine unified lineal champion, moves up, and his first fight, he fights the IBO 154 champion and Uzma Lima, knocks him out in the first round, right? Everybody's excited. This is October. Then we get to November, and here's Virgil Ortiz, right? Fighting Erickson Lubin, right? And the buildup to this was that they were already in a room together before Boots Ennis fought Lima. Like, so this is pre-October. Conversations were already talked about between DAZN and Oscar De La Hoya and Eric Gomez and Eddie Hearn. These are the promoters that are involved. And they agreed that they would fight each other next. Going into 2026, it would be a 50-50 split with 5% going to the winner, right? Boots Ennis signs the agreement.
Yes.
Virgil Ortiz does not. Now, what the excuses were, I don't know what it was. I mean, maybe to be fair to him, maybe he really was just he wanted to stay focused on making sure he beats Erickson Lubin. No problem.
Right.
So Boots Ennis shows up to the Erickson Lubin Virgil Ortiz fight in Texas. He's looking at him. He's like, I'm here. I'm here right now. I need to make sure you do. This is like Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, right? Like, okay, let's make this happen. So now Virgil Ortiz knocks out Erickson Lubin in exciting fashion. That whole Texas group is hyped, right? Virgil Ortiz was in a Cowboys game that same week. It was like the Sunday game. I forgot which game it was. And he's like talking it up with Jerry Jones. So anyways, Virgil Ortiz asks Boots Ennis to come up to the ring.
Yeah.
So now they're face to face, right? And then they're discussing it like, hey, man, you ducking me. Let's just make it happen next. Let's make this happen. So now we're all sitting there as boxing fans and boxing pundits and aficionados, and we're like, oh my God, it's finally going to happen, right? This is going to be great. A 27-year-old against a 28-year-old in the prime of their careers, both undefeated, both knockout artists. Belts aside, because all Virgil Ortiz, contrary to popular belief, has never won a world title. And the only belt he has right now is the WBC interim 154-pound title. Boots Ennis, on that same Lima win, was able to grab the WBA interim title. So all this means is two guys with two interim belts that are going to get the fight. But more importantly, in the Ring Magazine, which is the ranking system that we follow, in the Ring Magazine, Virgil Ortiz is ranked as the number one best 154-pound fighter. Boots Ennis is ranked as the number 6 best because he just jumped in from 147. He was the Ring Magazine 147 champ, and then he jumps in and he's the number 6. But this is the fight that had been brewing for the last few years. They were supposed to try to fight each other at 147.
Right.
That never happened. And then there were talks about them possibly fighting last year. That didn't happen. The talks then escalated to this year. And now the annoying thing is we were supposed to already have this announced, and then they were going to fight in February or March. Right. But Oscar De La Hoya this week has been playing this game that you do not like at all, Professor T, which is really, when we're looking at things, Virgil Ortiz deserves 60% of the money.
Right, the A side.
The A side. And this is my point, right? My point, and I want to get your thoughts on this, is that this is what drove the casual fans away. They don't want to hear A side and B side. They just want fights to happen. They don't care. They do not care. So, but your overall thoughts on them moving the goalpost, and is this maybe Virgil Ortiz is scared, or where is this at? Why is this not happening?
This is happening because there's no confidence that he can beat Jerron Boots Ennis. In terms of the people that matter, like an Oscar De La Hoya or his trainer even, that may not be coming, to the front of the congregation to say that outright. And I think that's the biggest thing to take from this. And it's going to be hard, man. Bottom line, it's going to be ridiculously hard for them to understand. Meaning, right, the fighter and his dumb promoter, right, that doesn't understand and just is always going to believe he's going to win at all times. And then the real promoter and Oscar De La Hoya understanding, he might not be ready for this. You haven't seen enough slick fighters. You haven't seen enough styles. You haven't fought this particular style that will help you as you get to this place. And a lot of people don't know how to build a fight, right? That's something maybe one day you should actually really, truly, discuss, man, and talk about how you build up a fighter and how you pick the right fighters for him. And there are times, right, you'll be able to tell him, look, this fight was a risk because he's got a style or a specific thing that he does well that our guy does not or cannot, right? And you have to put him in at certain times, right? And you try to do it and tread as lightly as you can, but at the same time, right, give the fans what they want, et cetera, and grow your fighter. So, I think he's in a tough spot because half his camp doesn't believe in him and the other half does, and they can't tell him that outright, and he just can't see between the forest, right? Right.
And you know what? You're not the only one that feels that way. There's a ton of people that have this idea that's what it is, that maybe it's not even necessarily Virgil that's scared, because as a fighter you don't get scared, but there are people around him that don't believe he can do it. To me, this is why we've Turkey Al-Sheikh and what he's done for the sport of boxing since 2023 has reshaped the entire landscape of everything. Right, where the best is fighting the best. The very best is fighting the best. And this whole excuse, like when you were saying, well, there's a certain way to build up a fighter. But I just watched Abdullah Mason fight the UK's best in a hell of a fight, and Abdullah Mason's only 21.
Man.
You know what I mean, right?
But the thing is, he's ready, though. We know he's ready.
But that's the problem, is how much longer is Virgil Ortiz going to be ready? You already got 27 fights. You know what I mean? Like, when are you ready? This is ridiculous. He already went through one division without ever winning a world title. Now he's in the second division without ever winning a world title, but he's proclaimed to be the best person, right? Like, this is, now it just looks embarrassing. Right, and we'll talk about this fighter a little bit later. But Dalton Smith doesn't even have 20 fights yet, and he just became the best 140-pound fighter by beating the boogeyman and Subriel Matias, right? So I'm just saying, like when you're talking to me about that, well, I understand where you're coming from, Professor T. Like, as a coach and understanding, yes, I'm not going to take a fighter who just came out of the amateurs and then, hey, man, you ready to go to the world title. There's a buildup to it, okay? But if I get you to a point like Adam Azim, who just beat up on Kurt Scobie on that Riyadh card we were watching, right? Adam Azim only has 14 fights, but he looks like he might be ready. He's already calling out Richardson Hitchens. Right. He already wants to fight Dalton Smith, right? Like, why am I getting these younger guys, 20, 21, 23, 24, these younger cats all wanting to fight the best guys, but Virgil Ortiz, man, what's going on, bro? What's taking so long, right?
It's a tough situation. I mean, the reason is, hey, look, let's be honest. Who else is available?
That's true. That's true. Because, but you're right.
They don't have anything else.
Well, okay, now here's the problem with that. What also, and I'm glad you're bringing that up, because to the casual space, that's what they've been sold in the U.S. Oh, well, it's about the money, but it's not anymore. And I'll tell you why. Turkey Al-Sheikh has made it to where it doesn't matter TV viewership, none of that. If you fight and you're under his banner, he's going to pay you, right? But also at the 154-pound division, I'm going to give you some Xander Zayas, who until Abdullah Mason was our youngest world champion, right? Xander Zayas won the WBO last year. already, not only is his first defense just a regular defense, it's a unification fight. He's fighting in 2 weeks in Puerto Rico against the WBA 154-pound champion in Abbas Baru, who upset Yoenis Diaz in America, right? So you got Xander Zayas he's already going to fight to unify the WBO and the WBA. Bakram Murtalazayev, who beat the brakes off of Tim Tszyu, who's the IBF champion, in 2 weeks is also fighting Josh Kelly and defending his title already. So I got Xander fighting the WBA champ, Abbas. I got Bakram, the IBF champ, defending his belt already against Josh Kelly, his #1 mandatory. All of this is happening January 31st. So those are 4 players at 154. Now, we got Sebastian Fundura, who's also going to be fighting Keith Thurman, and they're trying to figure out the date, but I think it's going to be somewhere in March here in Las Vegas. Right. He's already defending his WBC belt against, let's say, this Keith Thurman, right? Why is it taking so long for Virgil to make the moves, bro? Like, money's not the issue anymore.
Right.
It's either you want to fight or you don't want to fight. Like, it's not money. Is Abdullah Mason's taking chances, right? All these youngsters, Bam Rodriguez is taking chances. Nakatani, he just took a chance. All right, he took a chance, had a tough fight, but now he's getting a super fight against Naoya Inoue, a weight class above. And let's not forget, Professor T. All right, before we start giving these hall passes to Virgil Ortiz,
right?
Terrence Bud Crawford, bro, moved up 3 weight divisions when everybody was trying to say he wasn't big enough.
And took the slice of the King's Ranch, took a slither of
it. He didn't even get like how much Tyson Fury got for losing. You know what I mean? Right, so come on, Professor T. Are we really doing this? The who else is left era? Like,
that's a valid point. That's a valid point. I mean, I'm just only thinking in terms of the perspective of his camp. You know, there's no excuse at this point. I mean, he's well in his prime. That's the other thing. Like, I mean, like you said, what are you waiting for? You're of age. There is no. The next level of grown man strength is going to kick in and give you the ability to hang with the young bucks, but it's not going to make you better. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to put you in your prime. It's going to keep you where you were with the less of the ability you had as a younger person, in my opinion.
Right.
Just those little intangibles that now all of a sudden you can, kind of weather the storm. So.
Right. And again, this is like, we're just trying to give everybody like an overall way on how to look at it, because obviously you guys probably don't have as much time as we do in being able to watch a lot of these contents. But when we're talking about this boxing space, boxing has been so good that now Paramount Plus and CBS is involved in it. Boxing has been so good that Netflix is now involved in it, right? Like, the best have been fighting the best in the last 2.5 years. So why isn't Virgil Ortiz, who's proclaimed as the best, not fighting one of the best, right? Like, that's all. So hopefully it works out. Hopefully it happens. Again, we don't know. And if we don't, from what I understand, Boots Ennis, you and I are both very high on, Jerome Boots Ennis, he supposedly is going to at least fight somebody in February or March, no matter what. And he is waiting for the winner. If Virgil Ortiz says no to him, he is already going to get a title shot against the winner of Bakram Murtalazayev versus Josh Kelly. That's happening January 31st. So he's going to get a shot at the IBF title anyways. And because he's the WBA interim 154 champ right now, when the unification fight happens between Xander Zayas and Abbas Baru, who's currently holding the WBA, whoever wins that fight, he becomes the mandatory for that. So Boots already has 2 different world title fight avenues that he can go to. That it's like, so before you guys get mad that Boots Ennis will destroy another guy, in February and March, and you might say, how come Boots isn't fighting anyone good? I'll tell you the reason why. It's because the good people, the ones who are proclaimed to be the best, doesn't want to fight him. So how's that his fault? Stop messing with our guy, Boots Ennis. Like, he's ducking smoke. He's not ducking anybody.
Yeah, he's definitely not. At this point, he's just trying to find a fight. He reminds me of a young Crawford from that respect, right? I mean, it's tough to find somebody that's going to fight you in these circumstances when, you know, even fighting him is not going to give you the bag you're looking for on top of the other aspect of losing and now completely being cut out of the race. So it's a high risk, high reward, but I just don't know, man. It's a different world today. Like, this is, before, back in our day, man, everybody would have been lining up and they wouldn't have cared if they had an O. They wouldn't have out a bag. None of that. It would have been, I want to fight you so that I can show you I'm better than you. Like, we really had that. Like, there's so much lost. Go ahead.
Yeah, and we have it now, but it's just that the only difference, we have it now, but it's like, it's on the zone and it's happening in the UK or it's happening in Riyadh. And you know what I'm saying? Right? Like, but I understand. Like, nowadays,
it's an American problem.
Yeah, it's an American. Yeah, it's more of a, and it's really not even an American boxer problem more than it is an American promoter problem.
Correct. Right? It's an American problem in terms of capitalism, right? It's an American problem in terms of the best way of going about getting the most amount of money for the least amount of work and effort, right? There's just a lot going on that I just don't agree with in sports across the board in the United States of America. It's not good. It's not teaching these kids anything positive. And in fact, it's teaching them the opposite. Hey, if I can't get right with this promoter, I'll go to this promoter. If I can't get what I want from this promoter, I'll go to this promoter, right? Just keep backing and forth and no loyalty whatsoever. And don't get me wrong, the boxing game is way different. Now I'm starting to seep kind of more towards into the college world space where it's insane, right? I mean, so just to give an idea and a quick example, I don't know if you've seen it, but my guy Carson, man, shout out to Carson.
Yeah. So first of all, congratulations on Montana.
Yes, that's
doing it again. All right, congratulations.
Bobcats.
Right.
Yeah, shout out to the Bobcat crew, Bobcat Nation. See, and that's real. And I don't think y'all understand. It's football, so I don't talk about that here. But the fraternity, the community, the brotherhood, what I have at Montana State University is second to none. I mean, I can't even describe it, and I feel so bad for these kids nowadays that are never gonna have this. It's to the point, and I am definitely stealing this one. Shout out to JB and Smitty on the JB and Smitty show, but it's getting to that point, man, where I don't know, man. These kids they're just learning the wrong stuff, bro, and it's never gonna work out. It's never gonna work out. They're not, for instance, in high school. I mean, the NFL nowadays. A lot of these guys, you know how they say, so and so from North Dakota State University, linebacker, right? And everybody says where they're coming from. A lot of these kids now are saying they're high school. Why? Because they've been to 3 or 4 different colleges. Which one are you gonna name? Which one are you loyal to? See, in high school, and even in high school nowadays, you kind of jump if you're not getting the play you want. It's none of this stuff is teaching these kids anything. I mean, it clearly is seeping into everything. And I don't think boxing is any less as far as Americans. And that's the problem. We're getting watered down stuff here. I consider this to be the last Mohicans, man. I'll be honest. I think Abdullah Mason and that cut right there for Americans, we're in trouble, man. Right?
Well, I mean, I think that the next iteration of this, and in 2026, we're all very excited about what's happening with Paramount Plus and Zuffa Boxing, because that's going to be a whole different generation of people watching boxing and understanding, it's like a league. And basically, I'm going to learn the fighters as I continue to watch the league, right? So that's going to be a whole group of new, again, it's boxing, but again, it's gonna maybe hopefully regenerate a bunch of new casual fan base who doesn't have the time for the drama, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have time to have the NIL drama, man. I don't know why Damon Williams wanted to leave for Lane Kiffin, and now he's back, and I don't got time for this. I just wanted to see Washington Huskies versus somebody. I didn't know. I don't care. And there's a lot of fans that are like this, Professor T, in America, where they're like, dude, I don't need the drama. I just want to watch the game, right? Now, because the boxing, and I'll tell you guys this right now, man, if you guys don't understand that boxing fans honestly are really like the true boxing aficionado, boxing fans, like the ones, they're the best. I'll say they're the most loyal. They're the most loyal fans because you can continue to get pounded down with crappy fights, and these fan base will still pay for it. Like they literally are addicted to that sport, right? And I love it because I'm the same way. Like I'm a little smarter. I'm not going to sit there. Like I didn't pay. Like to be completely honest, I did not pay the pay-per-view price for Dalton Smith versus Subriel Matias on principle. I was like, nah, you guys are not going to do this to me because this card should be on DAZN. I'm already paying a DAZN subscription, but you guys messed it up with your little business model, and for whatever reason, it's not on DAZN. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay a separate pay-per-view. And sure enough, you're able to watch it because somebody was doing pirating it or whatnot, right? So I already sent you the video and got it like right away. So it wasn't even hard. But the point is a couple of things with the Zuffa boxing being on Paramount Plus on Friday nights. And it'll have consistency to it, right? Zuffa 1, Zuffa 2, right? People, you don't even necessarily need to know as a casual
correct
who the fighters are.
No.
You just are like, oh, there's a Friday night boxing match tonight. It's on Paramount Plus. Well, cool, man. Let me check that out, right? And then you're going to go check it out. And then if you become a fan of boxing, like how so many people do become a fan of boxing because they ended up seeing someone excite them or they saw a sequence happen during the fight that made them go, wow, I really want to be I want to be associated with the sport, right? Which is how you become a fan of any sport. You have to give it a try first and then ask yourself. Like full disclosure, Professor T, I have not gotten into F1 yet. My cousin was trying to get me into it, but I'm just having a hard time watching cars go Zoom. All right. I mean, but again, I have, but let me just say, no disrespect because people die in that sport. It's an extremely hard sport. I've driven a car fast. Like I get it. But my time is reserved for Raiders. My time is reserved for college football. My time is reserved for boxing. My time is reserved for the UFC, MMA, right? Like, dude, in order for you to let me squeeze that time in, all right, I got to be a casual first. Right. So you got to figure out a way to make me a casual, not necessarily care about Team Mercedes or Team Cadillac. You got to figure out a way for me to care about it on a sporting level. Okay. Now boxing, it's very easy to care about it on a sporting level because you're basically watching two people fighting. So you're either going to watch a fight and even if you don't know the fighters' names, you're either going to come out of it like completely shocked, or you're going to go, oh my God, I can't believe I just saw that. I can't believe that guy was still standing up. I can't believe that. You're either going to do that, or what oftentimes had happened in the American boxing space because of the capitalistic nature that Professor T is talking about. We see a fight, we pay $100, $80, whatever for it, and it ends up being terrible. Right. And then we get mad and then we get buyer's remorse. And so now that boxing is becoming more accessible, at least on that side with Zuffa boxing, that's one iteration of what's happening with boxing in 2026. But the other one is the one I've been talking about, which is since 2023, Turki Al-Sheikh got involved. Right. And now the best is fighting the best. And as an example of this, you have Shakur Stevenson fighting Teofimo Lopez on January 31st at Madison Square Garden. But hold on, It's coming back to the old days, like when you and I used to watch it, Professor G, in the 80s, because the undercard of that is Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz. We got Shushu Carrington, against I'm forgetting the gentleman's name right now, but it's for the WBC 126 championship, right? Yeah. You have Carlos Adames defending his 160-pound title against the American Ammo Williams. So again, when we're talking about, and we even have a heavyweight fight in there, big baby Jarrell Miller's going to be fighting.
That's right. That's right.
So what I'm saying is, when we're talking about this, the American space, Professor T, the American boxing space, that January 31st card happening in New York on Madison Square Garden has Teofimo Lopez, American. Shakur Stevens fighting against Shakur Stevenson, American. Right. Two of the best, right? One of them is on the pound-for-pound list. The other one is the Ring Magazine 140-pound champion, right? Shakur's moving up to his 4th weight class to become a 4-weight division world championship, right? Okay? That's the main event. But then Keyshawn Davis is American. Jermaine Ortiz is American, right? Shushu Carrington's American. Yep. Jarrell Big Baby Miller's American. Ammo Williams is American. Like, this is a great card. And if though it is pay-per-view, you're going to ask me to pay for it, I'm good. I'm like, okay, I'll pay that. No problem. $60? No problem. I'll pay for that card. So that's the other part is there is really good boxing happening, but it takes channels like us to have to tell people about it. Right. And in all honesty, it's also, and this is the part that you can really relate to, is it's competing against UFC 325, right? Other sports that are happening that weekend, right? So it's like there's too many things for everybody to watch now, that if you're a hardcore, you're going to watch it. But if you're not a hardcore, man, it's about getting the casuals to be involved. So I mean, what do you think about that? Like even that card, January 31st, $69.99, but for all those names that I just told you, and that's on Madison Square Garden. What do you think of that overall card?
I think it's good, man. I mean, I think it's great for boxing. I think there are going to be some great fights. I mean, you could potentially get a fight of the year out of this card. Trying to think of anything.
I'm sorry, I missed that. I had to go for just a second. But yeah, what were you saying before that?
No, I was just saying that we could get some fight of the years out of this card.
Yes,
it's possible.
No. The Shushu Carrington card, I'm just forgetting the gentleman's name. That could be fight of the year. Keyshawn Davis hasn't been in since the incident that he had, right? So against Jermaine Ortiz, that could be. But Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson, when we really break it down, that could be fight of the year. I mean, like, in fact, like right now, let's talk about that for just a bit. A lot of people are starting to believe that Teofimo Lopez, not only does he have the goods to beat Shakur, but he should actually be the favorite because he's bigger, because he's shown athleticism, because he's shown power. He has shown that he has the ability to outsmart, outbox. So there's a growing narrative, man, that a lot of people are starting to believe that this might be the T.O. moment where people start liking him and stop hating on him, because he is the Ring Magazine 140-pound champion.
Right.
And that's the one that's the most important, being the Ring Magazine champ, right? But he's also the WBO 140 champ. And here's Shakur Stevenson, who just had that fight with Cepeda at the tennis courts in New York, right, where they do the U.S. Opens. Right. He had a hell of a fight against Cepeda. Everybody loved it. But he's moving up. He's relinquishing essentially his 135 WBC belt to move up to go get the 140. So break that down for me, the way you see it even right now, early breakdown. Who do you lean on? Because it is hard stylistically.
Now, which fight again you said? Which two?
It's the Shakur versus Teofimo Lopez.
That's. I mean, I think you're gonna get a boxing clinic, and you're gonna get a frustrated Teofimo Lopez. But he does have a puncher's chance. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I don't see him hitting Shakur with something he won't see. I mean,
you don't think his athleticism, because he was able to beat Lomachenko, man.
Right? No, I agree, but I don't know. I've always felt like Shakur would be a horrible stylistic matchup for Lomachenko. I mean,
I agree. I agree.
That, but yeah, so you know what I mean. So it's really hard to gauge from that fight, if you will. I just think his skills, bro. His skills are. You know, he's not as small as people think. That's the other thing. I mean, I think he might be bigger than Teofimo, right?
It's hard to know because Tio is kind of big, right? But Shakur could be as big. So let's say you take the size out of it, right? Now there's the whole, well, this is the first time we're going to see Shakur fight at 140.
Right.
So how do we know, right? Because he didn't knock out Cepeda.
Right.
And Cepeda is not one of the hardest punchers at 135.
But
so,
this could be one of those scenarios, though, where he actually gains some strength. And Shakur, meaning that, hey, man, these guys drain themselves at these light weights at an early age because it's just much easier to do. As they grow, man, you start to realize they're not really that small. You know what I mean? Like, they're really not those small guys that come from, like, you know, the flyweights that get up to the 130, 135 and max out. No, these guys could have technically been starting at welterweight, 147, but no. They get down to 130 and start their careers, etc. So I think it can be surprising, man, and as his career moves forward, and he's in the higher weight classes, it's very possible you see a different type of Shakur. It's very possible. You know what I mean? I mean, and after looking at T-Bug Crawford and how he put on that weight and how he looked with it, you know, that right? I mean, dude, that's 3 weight classes in a matter of a year. It should be at a minimum a year and a half or so, right? To adjust and get the proper weight. And proper muscle, etc., and not just something overnight. And,
right.
And being a part of all of that, I think Shakur has an advantage there because, again, I mean, if you even see him stand next to Terrence Bud Crawford, he is not. They're like the same height.
Right.
So
he's not a small kid. He's not a small. Well, as you guys know, and again, this is just for having some objectivity in the conversation. But I've been rocking with Shakur when people were telling me, Shakur is this, Shakur is that, and I've always rocked with Shakur, and I even on this fight, I want to give Teofimo the respect that he deserves. So I'm not going to say Shakur is going to kill him, but this could go south real fast for Tio if he, you know, it's kind of like I think of it like a baseball game, right? I think that Shakur has the ability to really throw you off like Greg Maddux used to throw people off, right? And I know that everybody always gets mad at Shakur for maybe not getting the knockouts, right? But at the end of the day, Shakur it really reminds me a lot of Pernell Whitaker. Like there's a lot of technique to it, right? So but you see what I'm saying? I'll put it to you guys this way, and this is my early prediction to this all. This could end up looking like when Pernell Whitaker went and fought Buddy McGirt. And I remember if you guys rewatch that fight, go watch the first one. And a lot of people thought Buddy McGirt had everything that it needed to go beat Shakur Stevenson. Unfortunately, nah. I think that like Pernell Whitaker was able to beat James Buddy McGirt, and I think Shakur Stevenson is going to be able to do what he needs to do. So now we transition that into. So now if Shakur becomes the new Ring Magazine 140-pound champion. And the WBO champ, Dalton Smith, who just came to New York, beat the brakes out of Subriel Matias, which by the way, in several podcasts, I was the only one that was saying Dalton Smith's going to destroy this guy, and everybody was looking at me like I was crazy. Yeah. But again, man, maybe I know what I'm doing a little bit. All respect to Subriel Matias. Right. The problem I had with Subriel Matias is number one, I really thought Puello beat him when they fought in New York. Okay. Number 2, I've already seen him lose to Liam Paro.
Right.
Okay. All right. And number 3, he's closer to 34. I know he's 33 right now, but he's closer to 34. Dalton Smith could do everything that Subriel Matias could do at 28 years old, but he's also bigger because he's 5'10", almost 5'11". He's a big, strong, I mean, he looks like a Game of Thrones character, this guy, right? Dalton Smith, right? And honestly, like, I think people in America, I'm not trying to harp on you guys in the USA, but you guys are not paying attention to global boxing. Right. So you'll have an ignorant statement like, well, the only reason why Naoya Inoue's beating everybody is because he's fighting nobodies. How do you know? You're not staying up late to watch a Japanese card. Like, you're not paying attention. Like, you don't know, man. All of us who actually watch it all the time, not only do we believe Naoya Inoue's one of the best, I believe he should be pound for pound number 1. Right. Because not since Larry Holmes has anyone defended the title 4 times in 1 year. He defended the undisputed Ring Magazine title 4 times in 2025. Usyk, bro, done fought 1 time. Like, how is Usyk pound for pound number 1? That doesn't make sense. The pound for pound number 1 to me is Naoya Inoue. Now, again, pound for pound list is mythical. It's up to you. We can debate about it, whatever, man. I'm just saying that very ignorant statement from any boxing fan is to say Naoya Inoue doesn't fight anybody. Remember when people used to say that about Roy Jones? Roy Jones don't fight anybody. How is it Roy Jones' fault that he's knocking everybody out? That's the mandatory. It's not his fault. Like, I'm not going to blame Roy for that, right? So in that regard, you got Dalton Smith, who there's 5 UK men world champions now. And I've been saying it from Hamza Shiraz to Jazza Dickens. I'm like, and I even said, remember on this show, I said, Sam Noakes is going to give Abdullah Mason a hard time. Did he not? Right? Because these guys don't suck. We don't live in the 80s anymore where the UK fighters all caught up. Right. The American fighters are the ones that Berlanga needs to fight better people, right? Like, the American boxing space, these fighters need to get harder touches, not less harder touches. Like because in the UK, everybody is fighting everybody. Nobody's ducking nobody because they know that a loss isn't that big of a deal. They're like, that's all right. As long as my crowd like me and they paid for my tickets, I'm still going to get a chance to fight again, right? Right. So yeah, man. No. So Dalton Smith destroys the quote unquote boogeyman in Subriel Matias. A hell of a fight, already a fight of the year candidate. Right. All right. I agree. Already a fight of the year candidate. But going to you, asking you, how did you feel about it when you were watching the fight? Because I know you were shocked. You texted me right away. You're like, oh my God. You know? Yeah. How did you feel about that, the action of it? And what do you think happens with Dalton Smith, especially like with Shakur Stevenson, T.O. fighting? You got Richardson Hitchens. Is he fighting Duarte? Is he fighting someone, right? You got Gary Antoine Russell, who has the WBA. It's a stacked division, that nice little 140. So what are your overall thoughts on that fight and where the 140 is at?
I mean, it's shaping up to be one of the best divisions in boxing, for sure. It's top heavy. You got a lot of guys that need to fight each other. And I mean, any of them can win. It's actually an exciting situation. I don't have one way over the other, if you will, right? I mean, clearly some have more skills, more athleticism than others, right? But then others have more grit, more chin, right? There's just great matchups to be had, and I can see a lot of potential fight of the years. I know I keep saying that, but that division is stacked. 140 is stacked, man. I mean, 140, 147, 135, they're all stacked.
154, right? Like they're all, yeah. No, and again, when this is what I mean about how if you're just a casual and you're listening to our show, we're trying to explain to you that boxing is worthwhile to watch. It's so worthwhile to watch that Netflix and Paramount Plus CBS got involved in it. That's how good of a sport it is. Now, how do you deliver this incredible sport to the regular American public? Because everyone else globally, you already know in the UK, man, they treat it like it's the NFL, right? Outside of in Japan, it's bigger than the NFL in Japan, right? Like, you see what I'm trying to say? Like, depending on the country you're in Eastern Europe, boxing is a bigger deal than the NFL, right? It's just that in the USA, the NFL is king, right? So how do you get how does this amazing sport then get distributed to the American space so that they can go, oh, boxing is really fun to watch. Right. And like we told you, one of it is Zuffa Boxing. Another one is Netflix is going to do a few more shows in 2026. But fights like Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson, that helps, like, because it's best versus the best. But the Dalton Smith fight, man, imagine if when you were watching that fight, but imagine if somehow Dalton Smith, Subriel Matias was live on like CBS television. How many people would be talking about it right now?
They're huge.
Right? Yeah, and they don't even have to know about either guy. No. They could have been the first time they're watching it, but what they would have seen is, man, these guys look like they're fighting to the death. Because that's what it looked like. It looked like they were both fighting to the death, right? So so if you guys haven't got a chance to watch it, then follow us on Instagram. We'll send it to you. But that was an amazing fight. And like what you said, like 135 is also stacked. And the last thing we'll talk about is the Germany card, right? So on Saturday, and in the morning for us, unfortunately, but I did watch it, right? Was this card prime time in Germany with Agit Kabayel, who's the current WBC interim heavyweight champion, right? Doing his first come home fight to Germany. Let me explain to you guys how popular just boxing is outside of the US. They sold that sucker out, and if you watch even the replay,
right,
it felt like I was at a Ricky Hatton fight, bro. It was like they were yelling name, the volume was loud, and I know it was only 13,000 people, but it felt like 100,000 people. Like that was a very excited group of people watching boxing. Agit Kabayel fights. He ends up defending against Damian Nieba, who trains out in New Jersey. But represents Poland and is Polish. It was a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
Damian Nieba was I mean, in the first round, I gave it to the challenger. The second round, I was like, it's close, but I'm going to have to give it to Kabayel, but I wouldn't be mad if the judges give it to Nieba, right? And then by round 3, bro, it was one of those like where Kabayel was like Pac-Man. Like he just kept chomping and chomping and chomping, and he eventually got that ghost, bro. He eventually got that ghost. So third round stoppage. That was amazing. Your overall thoughts on just that, Agit Kabayel, and where he's at in the heavyweight division.
It's crazy. I think he has a chance to be the front runner, the guy, you know. Everyone, the one that everyone talks about, everyone's tracing, all those good things.
Yeah, no, Alexander Usyk is again pound for pound the best in the world, but I kind of have a problem with this, and I've talked about it on a couple of other shows on their panels. That I get that Usyk deserves whatever I guess fight he wants to take because he's 38, he's on the back, he's like Terrence Crawford, right? Like all right, I get it, dude. You're at the end of your rope, but you're fighting Deontay Wilder, man. Yeah. Like that's who you want, you know? Like, and again, this isn't me not disrespecting Deontay. No, you know I love Deontay, of course. But Deontay is coming off of. I mean, he just did his. He was on Black Prime, and he beat like his comeback fight. I don't even remember who the person was, but he's coming off of back-to-back losses to Joseph Parker. Right. And got knocked out by Zhilei Zhang. So those are like the top 5 names, right? So Deontay is like in the bottom, like maybe even past, maybe between 15 and 11 now in the rankings, right? But Deontay Wilder, I think, is 40, if I'm not mistaken. I know he's close to it, right? So So do you, Professor T, really want to see the pound for pound best Alexander Usyk undefeated, who just came off of knocking out a 27-year-old Daniel Dubois? Do you really want to see him fight Deontay Wilder next?
I do not. I don't. I can admit that. I don't. I mean, it is what it is. Unfortunately, we got to do it with what they have planned. I don't think anybody wants to see that fight, really, except for people that maybe don't like Deontay Wilder and want him to get knocked out again. I don't understand it. I think he's punched.
Do you at least see Deontay even giving you like an exciting puncher's chance? Does he have a puncher's chance against Usyk?
Not against Usyk.
Not against Usyk. So you're giving him like no chance at all. Like this is not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
This is a payday, and that's it. So then that's what makes me sad, right? I was having this debate where I was saying I don't have a problem with Usyk wanting to move on with his career. If he wants to start fighting the Jake Pauls of the world, whatever. Right. What I have a problem on is I just watched this German turkey killer in Agit Kabayel, looking good as he is, undefeated, right?
Yep.
He should be the WBC champ. If you're not going to defend against your mandatory, you should relinquish the belt.
Correct.
Right? Like that's the way it should be. And the fact that we're not recognizing, the casuals are not recognizing Agit Kabayel as the true WBC champ because Usyk is going to play this whole Wilder game. I don't like that. The other thing, too, is I want you to think about the heavyweight division right now, Professor T. You got Fabio Wardley, who's now the WBO champ after knocking out Joseph Parker. That just happened recently, right?
Yep.
You have Moses Itama on the rise. His fight got canceled for next week against Jermaine Franklin because there was an eye injury, but they're rescheduling it for March. But the current WBA champ is Gusayev, who just had a knockout in Russia, right? Beating Kubrat Pulev. So you got that. And then waiting in the wings right there, man. You got your Martin Bacoles of the world. You got your Lawrence Akole of the world. You got
what's back right, Bacole. I want but I mean,
There's a lot of heavyweight names that are on the come up. Justice Hooney. Like it is a thriving division. And by the way, just again to let the casual space know, Zuffa Boxing, February 14th, here at what they're now calling the Meta Apex. So the UFC Apex is no longer called the UFC Apex. It will now be called the Meta Apex because they have a partnership with Zuckerberg now.
That's
right.
Right.
So at the Meta Apex, February 14th, Zuffa Boxing is presenting their first heavyweight fight. And they signed F.A. Ajagba, bro, the number 8 ranked Nigerian nightmare of this era. F.A. Ajagba, ranked number 8 by the Ring Magazine heavyweight. He's fighting Charles Martin as the headliner to Zuffa Boxing.
My bad, I forgot, man. Professional E is in the building. Appreciate you for coming through, man. I
I was waiting for you to do the whole roll call with TikTok.
We've been rolling, man, but I've been paying attention, and it's just been great conversation, man.
Right.
Guys, what's awesome, and then damn, comparing Buddy McGirt to Tio is nasty work.
You got so
to Matthias, he's a PED user. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what. Well, I mean, he passed the test. Kind of like you were drinking, but you were under the limit. You know what I mean? So yeah, no. But anyways, so the heavyweight division is moving forward, Professor T. It's a very fun, like so many young, talented, or in their prime talented that, I'm with you. I don't want to see Usyk versus Wilder. I don't need to see a 40-year-old get knocked out by a 38-year-old. And if Usyk wants to if Usyk is at a point in his life where what he wants to do is he's already built the legacy, so nobody's going to question that. And we're going to say you're the best heavyweight of this era, so nobody's going to question that either.
Right.
But if your era is over, then step aside, Alexander. Just step aside, man. Go fight Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Go do your thing. Like go. You know, but Agit Kabayel's coming. Fabio Wardley's coming, right? I mean, they just talking about Tyson Fury coming back, and then they were introducing the opponent, and I was like, that's the opponent? You know, like, I mean, Zhilei Zhang is right there. Filip Hrgović is right there. Like, there's all these guys in the top 5, top 7 that I'm like, why are you guys doing this to yourselves, man? Like, just don't come back or come back and say to us, you're not really trying to be back up top. You know what I mean? Like it's just again, it's but heavyweight's very fun. Agit Kabayel was amazing to see. I'm very excited to see what's next again, moving forward for him. They're already talking about maybe his next fight will be Lawrence Okole. Maybe his next fight will be Filip Hrgović. But he's such a draw in Germany that they've talked about that Germany might be able to come up with enough money to lure Usyk to come to Germany. So my last question then is this: seeing in terms of the heavyweight, you saw what Agit Kabayel looks like. You've seen how he knocked out Makhmudov, who at the time was undefeated, Russian, beat the hell out of him. Then you watched him beat Frank Sanchez. Then you saw him knock out Zhilei Zhang. Remember? Yeah, that was crazy, right? Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, okay. And now you saw him take on the 6'7" Polish giant and stop him too. Kabayel's like starting to be like kind of like my heavyweight Marvin Hagler, man. He's just coming at people. He's like, he doesn't care. Go ahead and hit me. His style is almost like, go ahead and hit me because I'm just gonna keep coming, right? So if in 2026, Usyk was willing to be brave enough to not do the I don't need to fight you, my legacy's built, kind of like what Canelo did to Benavidez, right? If Usyk, before he retires in 2026, is brave enough to say, sure, screw it, I'll go to Germany, I'll fight Kabayel, you're gonna pay me? No problem, I'll defend, I'll fight him, right? Yeah. Who do you think would win that fight right now?
I gotta give it to Usyk.
Still?
I do. I do. Give him a couple more fights and no. I think.
You don't think he could take him right now?
I don't.
You don't think he's got the jab or the body punching? We've never really seen Usyk. The one time we saw Usyk get tested in the body, he got dropped, but they called it a low blow.
Correct. No, I agree. I do think he's a couple of fights away. And that's the key. I think in this softball, and that's why I'm saying, so if Usyk fights
Wilder
and then takes that fight, he wins. If Usyk fights a real fighter and then takes that fight, he loses. That's how I would put it. I think because I know if he fought a real fighter, it's not going to be an easy fight, and I don't know if he's got anything left.
So if you think if Usyk, let's say, fought Fabio Wardley, that'd be a tough fight.
That'd be a tough fight.
All right. Or if Usyk fought Moses Itauma, that'd be a tough fight.
That would be a tough fight. And then going into that fight, I don't know if he really can get up for it. Pause. Okay.
But even like right now with the momentum, with Kabayel being 5 years younger, body punching, you don't think Kabayel could just sit there and beat him right now? Get him right now?
I don't.
Wow.
Usyk is considered pound for pound, etc. for a reason.
Yeah, I know.
It is. It's intriguing. I get it. No, and I understand. Absolutely, I understand. It's very possible. I'm not saying I would be shocked. Let's put it that way. I would be shocked if Usyk lost that fight, but I couldn't pick him. I definitely couldn't put money on it.
All right. But you believe that if Agit Kabayel, let's say, fights a Fabio Wardley next, or a Filip Hrgović, Lawrence Okole, Daniel Dubois, and continues this trajectory in 2 more fights, you would definitly pick him over Usyk.
I think and that's what I'm saying. It's literally that fine line of at the tail end of this guy's career. Like, all it's going to take is one fight. And you know what I mean? That one fight to really take it out of him to where I'm gonna take this next fight because it's for money and right. It's I don't know. I don't. But it's just not gonna be the Usyk of anywhere remotely close to his prime or the boogeyman or the boogeyman.
Right. But and I'm glad you're saying it that way because it is tough. But because he just fought, we just watched him in July of this year, right? And he was fighting a 27-year-old Daniel Dubois, dude. And he looked damn good.
That's my point.
He looked like, he still looked like he got it.
You need somebody to take him into the waters, man. And even if they don't win it, take him into those waters to where, look, that old school mentality of back in the day, which still a lot of people till this day, at least us old folks, look, when we ask for fair ones, we're not even thinking about the winning or losing side of it. Right? You know what I'm saying? We asking for a fair one because we got problems, and at the end of the day, you are going to respect me whether you whoop my ass or not.
Right.
I don't care if I lose.
Right.
There's no way I'm allowing you to disrespect. That doesn't exist anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, these dudes is well, what about my money? If you know what I mean, I could have talked about your mama, and you over here talking about the bag. Like, nah, man, you talk about my mama, it's over. It's over.
Right.
Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. So
right. Well, we're gonna see because Zuffa Boxing is trying to fix that, and honestly, and Tio and Shakur, they've been very good at this so far. Like nobody's really overstepped, but both of them are clearly saying, "Bro, I am gonna beat you." Like this will be like the way Teofimo is talking is he's looking at Shakur like you're about to get shocked, little guy. Right. And Shakur's looking at him like, no, you're about to get shocked. like you're about to find out, man. And I like it. I like it. It's like watching two black belts go at it, like awesome. Great. I want to see a great fight. So let me transition to the last thing, which you mentioned 135. We have a new player at 135. We just watched him in Germany win Shakur's belt. It was for the WBC 135 championship. And if Shakur does choose to leave it, this kid will become the legit champ at 135 for the WBC. He's only 1 year older than Abdullah. All right. This kid is so young. Cuban, 18-0 with 16 knockouts now. The WBC interim 135 champion, Javier Herrera. He looks good, man. He looks good. Now, here's it. And I was discussing this on a few other panels, but I was saying how it's funny to me because when I look at Javier Herrera, and I've been watching him for a while, they basically based him in Dubai as they were growing his talents, right? The thing about the kid is he's like Abdullah Mason. He likes to scrap. He has the skill set to be able to box you Cuban style. But the reason why he has 16 knockouts is because when you hit him, he ends up just being like, oh, hell nah, and he just starts throwing, right? Having said that,
we got a quick one from Professional E. Who's 2020 Lomachenko or this version of Shakur?
No, the 2020 Lomachenko is one of the best things you'll ever see. That's stop it, man. What are you doing? What are you doing?
People hearing me say that, you know what I mean?
If Shakur makes Teofimo Lopez quit, then I'll start to say, oh, maybe Shakur is starting to get to that level. But Lomachenko was making people quit. Yeah, Lomachenko was making boogeyman people quit.
That frustration.
Lomachenko was different. But so again, the 135 division, which Lomachenko also was very, very good at, ended his career as the 135 IBF champ. Actually, most people don't even look at that as a stat sheet. So Javier Herrera, 1 year older than Abdullah Mason, but he's the champ now. Okay, Abdullah Mason just became the champ, right? And then who knows what's going to happen with Gervonta Davis? So that might become a vacant title. And then we have Raymond Murataya fighting Andy Cruz next week at the Fontainebleau here in Las Vegas for the IBF title, right?
Wow.
And Andy Cruz, gold medalist, right? Raymond Murataya, 24-0, undefeated, trained by the IBF champ, trained by Robert Garcia. The 135 division, just like you said earlier, Professor T, is stacked. Okay, stacked. So what do we do here? Do we let the young 21-year-old Abdullah Mason fight the 22-year-old Herrera right now?
Right.
Or do we? I mean, what are we supposed to do? They're all young.
Great. It's a great question, man. Great question.
I don't know if you got to see. I mean, again, Javier Herrera, guys, go check out that. The highlights are there. He's very, very good. But he's when I watch Abdullah Mason fight, I look at him and I say to myself, Abdullah Mason, you have all the abilities to box, young man. Why do you do this to yourself? You always want to go to war. And when I watch Javier Herrera, I have a different feeling. I'm like, Javier Herrera, you have all the abilities to box, and I absolutely love that you like going to war, right? Like it's this weird like feeling between the two different 135ers, but yeah, man, like what for you yourself? I know you love Abdullah Mason. Who do you want to see him fight next? His mandatory, by the way, is Joe Cordina. Just so that you know. Joe Cordina, who just won in Stockton. So, but he doesn't have to fight the mandatory. He has William Cepeda on the same rankings. He can give Sam Noakes a chance again. There's other people, Albert Bells, Floyd Schofield. These are all the WBO ranked guys. Gabriel Flores could be a voluntary. I'm just saying, like, do you want to see him unify a belt against like a Javier Herrera now?
After that tough fight, no. I want to see him see how he handles a contender, if you will, right? A real contender that could give him just as much as a good fight as Noakes did. And then if he can, weather that storm cleanly, right? Then let's go to the next unification. That's going to be a hard fight, right? And having two, I mean, he is young, so I mean, I'm not mad at all if they go for it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm not mad at all if they go for it. But I want to see him take on a contender, maybe a particular style that he hasn't seen yet, somebody that's more slick.
Right.
Because right now, nobody, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, who really has his boxing skills? Not many guys are slick, counter punchers / ring generalship type guys. They're more scrappy / bangers more so. They're more boxers. I mean, not boxers, more the boxer versus brawlers. That's what I was looking for. They're more of a brawler than you would call them a boxer.
Right. But you wouldn't want to see him like let's say Lamont Roach, who got 2 unfair draws.
Right.
Move back down to 135 and fight Lamont Roach at 135.
Well, why move back down though? Right. No.
Well, for Lamont Roach, because he moved up to 140 to fight. Lamont Roach to move back down.
I mean, that would be a good fight. I think Lamont Roach would get starched, though. I'm not gonna lie. I know. Yeah, I'm talking big.
Oh.
I think that would be a problem for Roach. I don't think.
Really?
I don't. Yeah, there's not many guys that want to fight Abdullah Mason right now.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying is Raymond Murataya, winner of Raymond Murataya, Andy Cruz, might look at that situation and go, you know what, Turkey? I know that's your boy, Abdullah Mason. I'll fight him right now. I'm the new IBF champ. I'll fight your boy right now, right? How do you think that would fare? Abdullah Mason, you saw his youth did show up against Sam Noakes.
100%. And that's why I'm worried about bringing him along so quickly in terms of unifications. I want to get him in there maybe with something that, definitely not a softball, but at the same time, something that the expectations is for him to win, but also something that's going to give him fits. Kind of like how when Crawford went in with his first 154-pound fight. What's his name?
Oh, Madrimov. With Madrimov. Oh, Madrimov is fighting in Vegas next week on that undercard.
Is he really?
Yeah. So Madrimov's coming here. Yeah. Omari Jones is coming here. It's a great card. Eddie Hearn put together a really good card.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying, like something like that, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah, no, and in fact, I'll end with this since we're about to close the show. Yeah. I would go to Fontainebleau next Saturday to watch it, except I cannot. I have to watch UFC 324. I don't think I'll be in the arena, but I do have to watch it because I'm being asked by Channel 8 News to do a post-fight analysis for them in studio the next day. It's fun stuff. That I love talking about this type of stuff anyway. So, so now I have to miss the whole Raymond Muratai, Andy Cruz. I'll watch the replay, but I'll be missing the live Omari Jones and Israel Madrimov. I'm going to miss all of that, guys, because I got to pay attention to all of UFC 324, which, again, we covered earlier that Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes, sadly, is now going to be canceled. But Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett, still the main event.
That's going to be a good one.
And we'll end with that.
Yes.
Who are you picking? Because Justin Gaethje, bro, I'm getting a lot of people who somehow think he's old. He's 37. If Crawford is older than Gaethje and MMA is a different sport,
right?
Yeah. I don't know if that's the reason why Paddy Pimblett would be. I'm not saying Paddy Pimblett couldn't beat him, because Paddy Pimblett's coming off of great wins against Michael Chandler and. Paddy the Baddy's doing his thing.
Paddy's doing his thing. That's who I got winning.
Okay. But I'm just saying, like Justin Gaethje's not going to be.
He's not
just going to, this is the former world champ.
You're going to have to knock him out. You're going to have to knock him out.
He's going to knock him out, right? He's going to have to, right? Because
he's going to win. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Gaethje getting a decision, because he's just that dude. He has the ability to do that.
And keep in mind that this is the first time they're going to do the Paramount Plus. It's essentially a free American TV. There's a lot of hype behind it. Justin Gaethje is as American as you can get, bro. Like, USA, right? Like, if this is his chance to beat the Irishman, the younger Irishman who's supposed to beat him,
right,
bro, this could be his road back to. Because this is for the title. This is for the interim title, right? And this is for the WBC, for the UFC interim belt at 155 pounds. I don't know. I'll tell you this, Professor T. If I see a line in Vegas and it says plus 700 or plus 400 for Gaethje, I might throw some money on Gaethje, bro. Just you know what I mean? Yeah, I just can't, bro. I just can't disregard him that way. Like, there's some people talking like he's out the door, and I'm like, dude, this is Justin Gaethje.
He's not too old. Yeah, he's not too old. 37 is not too old. Not bad.
Yeah. And he's got the wrestling background. We know he's got hands.
Shout out to Professor Lovato. He is wrestling, collegiate wrestling at Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah, real collegiate.
Wow.
Because he's never wrestled in college. So you got a 42-year-old world champion in any grappling that's ever imaginable in college. Just imagine that. Next Wednesday, I'll have some tape for that. We'll show.
Okay, cool. That'll be awesome.
That's amazing watching the world's best grappler of all time, American.
Do American folk style wrestling. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Wrestling. College.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, he's out there giving them some.
Hey man! Shout out to everybody 40 and above doing their thing, bro. Shout out, And with that said, again, happy birthday, Professor T. Happy birthday to you. We definitely appreciate you. Happy heavenly birthday. Obviously to your dad.
Wow.
And then have some fun with the family. Again, no watch parties because your girl's doing the gymnastics. Son's doing the track, so going to be pretty busy. But we're back next week. We'll get a chance to really break down UFC 324, which is happening on that Saturday, and also Muay Thai, Cruz, the whole bit. There's going to be plenty of boxing to talk about. But until then, we'll see you guys next week, Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and 6. Is it still 6 p.m.
6
there? 6 p.m. Texas time. All right.
All right, we are out, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.